Welcome back to History in Motion, proudly brought to you by Midas.
Before the break, I asked you a quick question. Which two South African drivers won the South African Formula One Championship 6 years in a row each? The answer is John Love and Dave Charlton.
John Love was the first man to win 6 South African Formula One championships from 64 to 69, while Dave Charlton repeated this feat from 70 to 75. The Sabella Mark cars get ready to take to the track in their handicap race. Nick van Wyk, making his racing debut, tells us a bit about his car.
I paid $3,500 for the car. Obviously, for there comes the seats, etc., but it's a nice position to start in. Always like to try racing, so let's try it.
I started the MG Youth Program in 2009. When we just started, we built this car. There used to be a rally car, it drove around the entire world. And the blue one we built from 7 scrap cars. We had a lot of fun. I now work at Subaru as an apprentice mechanic. Got a job, and working on these cars helped me a lot to get the job, and confidence, built up my confidence in everything. And it's nice to spend time with people who share the same passion as you, and it's a lot of fun.
John Martin will lead the field out of the pit lane once the Mark car race gets underway. Newcomer Nick van Wyk will be second out of the blocks 43 seconds later, with Brendan Tracy leading a gaggle of cars out 2 minutes 44 seconds later. Willy Grobler in his 1962 Lotus 423 heads out onto the track to start hunting down the cars already circulating. Cobus Brits is the last car to leave the pit lane, and he heads out 4 minutes and 5 seconds behind John Martin. And the chase begins. Stephen Neofitu in his 1977 Mini has a moment here at the hairpin as he spins it round and ends up in the gravel. Stuart Grant finds himself heading into the tyre wall at a tremendous speed as he goes off the track while hunting down a flying Issy de Silva. A bit bent but not broken, he will continue racing. Colin Keane in his Carcol Executive Auto Mercedes 280E is making his way through the field as he passes Stephen Neofitu's yellow Mini and heads after Brendan Tracy in the number 42 MGA. Ray Corneliusson in his Alfa Romeo GTV leads the field through our shot, but it is the hard-chasing Issy de Silva in his Datsun Triple S who pushes hard as he passes Martin van der Merwe's MGB. Up the hill, Andre Reinecker in his Porsche 928S lines up Bug Singh in his 22 MGB. Down the inside he goes and makes the pass. Issy de Silva is hot on his heels, and coming into turn 6, de Silva slips down the inside and passes Singh. The great thing about Mark cars is that if the handicap is worked out correctly, all the cars should be heading to the finish line at roughly the same time on the final lap. So rather than the field spreading out during the race, they get closer, and this really makes for great racing. Here we see Roger Houston in his baby blue CTR Racing MGB Roadster side by side with Colin Keane's Mercedes-Benz 280E. Ahead of them, Andre Reinecker in his black and white exclusive racing team Porsche. Side by side, Houston and Keane go. Keane just edging out Houston as they head into turn 3. Issy de Silva has driven a great race. Starting third from last, he rounds the final bend to see Henny waiting with a checkered flag, and he takes victory in Heat 1 of the Sabella Mark cars. Ray Corneliusson took second place in his red Alfa Romeo GTV. John Martin, who started first, was able to hold on for fourth place in his DKW F11 Junior. Nick van Wyk in his first ever race finishes 9th in his Mercedes-Benz 350 SE.
It's a tough race because I've just finished 12 laps in the saloons and I had to go straight out and do another 8. So I was very, very tired, but like I said, I went as fast as I could, and I believe I won.
Interesting, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think for news like myself coming into the racing game, Mark cars is the way to go, eh?
We played a bit with tire pressure to make it oversteer a bit, and obviously we went too far because I ran out of talent mid-turn 4 and just scribbled it against the wall, but these things happen.
Race 2 gets underway as the competitors peel out from the pit lane where their time comes up. Steve Neofitu in his Cheese for Africa yellow Mini leads Willy Grobler in the number 83 green Lotus 23 into turn 8 and onto the start-finish straight. Krobler moves across to the left and passes Neofitu heading into turn 1. Behind them, Martin van der Merwe in his blue Van Clan Racing MGB leads Bug Singh in his MG Car Club MGB. In MAR cars, not only do the drivers have to worry about working their way to the front or staying in front, they also have a nominated breakout time per lap that if they go faster than by more than 2.5% in race 1 or 1.5% in race 2, they will break out and are disqualified. So lap time consistency is also key in MAR car racing. Neofitu tries to make a pass down the inside of Krobler and he makes it stick as he powers away up the hill. Van der Merwe's blue MGB is also pushing hard as he tries to gain a position. Krobler is not going to let the Mini get away and accelerates up the hill and retakes the Mini. Van der Merwe has a look down the inside but is not quite close enough. Behind them, Ray Corneliussen in his red Alpha GTV is pushing hard as he passed Singh and has his sights set on Van der Merwe and Neofitu. The DKW of John Martin leads the rapidly closing field into turn 8, but they're going to have to unlap him first before they can start fighting him for position. The DKW is not the fastest car on the track, but the handicap gives him the advantage of a head start. Up into turn 5 and Corneliussen is closing on Van der Merwe, but he runs wide and loses time going off the track as he does a bit of farming before rejoining the track. This allows the cheesy Mini of Neofitu to sneak past. Martin van der Merwe leads the field through turn 4. The BP Porsche of Cobus Brits is steaming through the field. Brits started at the back of the field, some 4 minutes and 1 second behind John Martin, as he has had the fastest lap time. He certainly is making that time up now as the Porsche powers up the hill and past the Mini. Cobus Brits now has the black and white Porsche 928 of Reineke in his sights. Into the hairpin, and it's Van der Merwe ahead of Grant. Grant gets a good exit and pushes past the MGB GT. Cobus Brits all by himself as he rounds the final bend to take the checkered flag. Almost 8 seconds ahead of Stuart Grant in second. More importantly though, he didn't break out, he was in his time by mere 2/100ths of a second. Talking about cutting it fine. After his accident in race 1, Grant finished a fantastic second with John Martin in his DKW third. Nick van Veek in his Mercedes crossed the line in fourth, but broke out by over 4 seconds and was disqualified.
It was much better than binning it in the first one, so it all went well. I mean, I couldn't believe it. The wheel arch wasn't rubbing on the tire or anything, a bit of a tire lever in there and it's all sorted. And wheel alignment's good, car's good. It's bulletproof.
Join us for some endurance racing on the Midas Historic Tour after the break.